Welcome to Copilot Podcasts. Ever heard of a show that vanished without a trace? Today, we're diving into The New Adventures of Tessa from 2014.
Now that's an interesting piece of animation history that seems to have completely disappeared from the records.
What makes this particularly fascinating is the absolutely stellar voice cast that was attached to it.
You're absolutely right. We're talking about some of the biggest names in voice acting. Sandy Fox, Jim Cummings, Tress MacNeille.
Wait, Sandy Fox? The same Sandy Fox who voiced Betty Boop for Universal Studios?
The very same. She's been the official voice of Betty Boop since 1991, performing at Universal Studios and in various media.
That's incredible. And Jim Cummings, he's basically animation royalty.
Oh yeah, and by 2014 he was already a legend. He actually hosts his own podcast now called Tuned In.
And then there's Tress MacNeille, who's been in practically everything from The Simpsons to Futurama.
She's actually one of the most prolific voice actors in the industry. She recently appeared on Jim Cummings' podcast.
So how does a show with such an incredible lineup just disappear?
That's the million-dollar question. 2014 was actually a pretty significant year for animation.
What was happening in animation at that time?
Well, we saw several new animated series launching that year, including The New Adventures of Lassie.
Oh, interesting parallel. Did that show have better luck?
Actually, yes. That one at least made it to air and has a documented history.
It's wild to think about all these talented voice actors coming together for a project that just vanished.
You know, it's not entirely uncommon in animation. Sometimes projects get shelved even after recording is complete.
Really? That must be frustrating for the voice actors.
It is, but it's part of the business. Sandy Fox, for instance, has worked on numerous projects that never saw the light of day.
Tell me more about Sandy Fox's career around that time.
Well, by 2014, she was already well established. She'd been performing since the 1980s.
And she started with Disney, right?
Exactly. She worked for Disney in Orlando, performing in their live stage shows when she was just 17.
That's quite a journey from Disney stage shows to voice acting.
And she's done so much in between, including being part of the Orlando Magic's inaugural dance team.
Wait, what? She was a basketball dancer too?
Yep, for 3 years. She's really done it all in entertainment.
Let's talk about Kevin Michael Richardson. He was also part of this mysterious project.
Another heavyweight in voice acting. The cast they assembled was really remarkable.
It almost feels like this show was too good to be true.
Sometimes that happens. You get an amazing cast, but other factors prevent the project from moving forward.
What kind of factors typically cause these situations?
Could be anything. Funding issues, creative differences, distribution problems.
And this was happening right when streaming was starting to change everything.
That's a great point. 2014 was really a transitional period for animation distribution.
Do you think that might have played a role in what happened?
It's possible. Many studios were still figuring out how to navigate the streaming landscape.
Let's talk about Janice Kawaye's involvement. She was also part of this cast.
Another talented voice actor who's worked on numerous successful projects.
It's fascinating how these voice actors' careers have evolved since 2014.
The industry has changed so much. Just look at Jim Cummings. Now he's hosting his own podcast about voice acting.
That's right, and Tress MacNeille was just on it recently.
Yes, discussing her legendary career in shows like The Simpsons and Futurama.
Do you think we'll ever find out what happened to The New Adventures of Tessa?
It's hard to say. Sometimes these lost projects resurface years later. Sometimes they remain mysteries.
Kind of like what happened with The New Adventures of Tarzan back in the day?
Similar in some ways, though that one at least made it to release, even if it had a troubled distribution.
What do you think the show was actually about?
With that voice cast, it must have been something special, but we may never know for sure.
It's amazing how something can just vanish in the digital age.
Even with all our technology and documentation, some things still slip through the cracks.
Do you think any of the voice recordings still exist somewhere?
Possibly in some studio archive, but finding them would be like looking for a needle in a haystack.
What a shame. With talent like that, it must have been something worth preserving.
The animation industry has so many of these what-if moments.
At least we can appreciate what these voice actors have done in other projects.
Absolutely. Their contributions to animation are well documented, even if this particular project isn't.
Maybe someday someone will find footage or recordings in some forgotten archive.
That would be quite the discovery for animation historians.
Until then, it remains one of animation's most intriguing mysteries.
A reminder that even in our well-documented era, some stories still manage to slip away.
And with such an amazing cast, it's hard not to wonder what could have been.
Sometimes the greatest stories are the ones that never quite made it to the screen.
Well, that's all the time we have for today on Copilot Podcasts.
Just remember, somewhere out there, there might be a tape with the new adventures of Tessa just waiting to be found.
And if you find it, please let us know. We'll be waiting.